You're not about to get this information from anywhere else, so pay attention. I didn't talk to Bricc Baby or Luce Cannon myself, but I spoke to somebody who did. And more importantly, I talked to somebody who was in that courtroom, someone who doesn't rock with either of them, so they have zero reason to sugarcoat anything. And on top of that, I got my hands on the actual court transcripts. So what I'm about to break down for you, this ain't no rumor. This ain't no guesswork. This is the real, unfiltered play-by-play of Bricc Baby and Luce Cannon's bond hearing that happened yesterday. On April 7th, Bricc Baby and Luce Cannon called into the No Jumper show and told everybody they'd be home by April 9th. And they really believed that. That Wednesday, they both had a bond hearing lined up, and they were expecting to walk out right after. The reason they were so confident? It wasn't just talk. Both of them had strong bond packages ready to go. Bricc had his setup locked in. Luce Cannon had his lined up too. They weren't just hoping. They thought they were out of there. But that's not how it played out. Bricc Baby's mom came in clutch. She put up a multi-million-dollar home for his bond. So they really thought they had it in the bag. Like, even if the judge hit him with $1 million bail, they still had it with property. Bricc really thought he was going to be home before the sun went down. He was convinced the judge was going to see that and be like, all right, let him out of here. But nah, that's not how it played out. And I'm not going to stretch it and build no fake suspense, but they both got denied. The judge shut it down just like that. They both got denied for damn near the same reasons. First off, the rap sheets. Both of them got a long history, and the court wasn't feeling that at all. But what really did it? The way they've been moving since the investigation started. The court straight up said they didn't trust neither one of them to not interfere with the case if they're out. They don't believe Bricc Baby or Luce Cannon would sit still and play it cool. They see them as a risk, not just to the process, but to the public. And Bricc Baby, they went straight to that clip on No Jumper. Man had a gun on his hip, live on camera, the day before he got arrested. So from the court's perspective, if you're out here wilding, knowing there's an open investigation, why would they believe you suddenly act right if they let you go home? They weren't buying it. Both were denied bond. It doesn't stop them from trying again later, but for now that got shut down. Bricc Baby's hearing went smooth, in and out, no issues. Luce Cannon's, on the other hand, had a lot of drama that we're about to get into. I got 600's version, and I've got the other side's version. But, like I always say, there's 3 sides to every story. His version, their version, and the truth.
Whatever. Besides the point. He looked bad. He looked stressed out. Eddie Boy in the courtroom. Eddie Boy by himself. Luce Cannon come in his spot and look like Ghost, like, man, what Eddie Boy doing in here? Oh, cuz. Oh, neighborhood crib. Eddie Boy just sitting there. Ain't paying due no mind. So they all the lawyers look over Eddie Boy like, what?
Eddie Boy's an OG from the 60s, and he was in court. Him and Luce Cannon don't really get along, so the moment Luce showed up, things popped off. When Luce Cannon walked into court and saw Eddie Boy, the first thing he said was, why is Eddie Boy here? I don't F with that dude on neighborhood crib. He said it loud so the whole courtroom could hear him. Mind you, this man is in court right now fighting a gang RICO case, and he calls out his op right there in the courtroom. Say what you want to say about Luce Cannon, but what I've always said is, he's consistent. Now, once that happened, court officers stepped in and told Luce Cannon that Eddie Boy was allowed to be there as long as he wasn't causing any problems. It's open to the public. After a few folks got involved, Luce Cannon decided to chill and stay quiet.
It's only his wife. Well, I guess they're not technically married, but his girl, some other girl, she was with Eddie Boy. Nobody in the courtroom. So, now let's get into what's going on. The prosecutor is giving him his charges, previous crimes, why to deny his bail. Do you know what snitching he said in court? I didn't do those cases I went to jail for. My brother did those crimes. You snitching on your brother, snitching on your brother? You went to jail for him, bro. We're like, damn.
They started reading off Luce Cannon's history, past arrests, charges, all that, trying to paint the case that he's a career criminal and a danger to society and shouldn't be let out. They ran off a long list, like 40 plus charges. Luce Cannon was sitting there like, yo, that's not me. I didn't go to jail for that. That's not my case. Turns out, some of those charges belong to Luce Cannon's actual twin brother. They've got the same birth date and the same name, just off one letter. The only difference is Luce's Termaine and his brother's Germaine. So it looks like they pulled records lazy and did a soft background check and put in stuff that wasn't even his. And Luce Cannon wasn't letting that fly. He told the court straight up, those aren't mine. Those are my brother's charges. Now 600 would say that he's snitching, but from Luce Cannon's side, he's just fighting for bond. The courts are trying to say he's a menace to society for charges he didn't even commit. To me, that's not snitching. That's correcting the record.
And then he say, Eddie Boy here trying to get some content. When he said that, the police came over to Eddie Boy and asked him, is he recording? He sent the police on him. He crashed out over there, man. He was mad. He was like, man, I wish I could record and told you what they doing, man. Oh, they use They used, oh, and they brought up the no jumper fight. He's in trouble.
Eddie Boy got walked out the courtroom for a minute, but let's be clear. Luce Cannon wasn't the one who said that Eddie Boy was in the recording for content. That came from his lawyer. She saw Eddie Boy was on his phone, thought it was a little off, and slid a note to the judge, just to be safe. The judge had the bailiffs walk Eddie Boy out and check his phone. When they found out he wasn't recording anything, they let him back in.
Use all that online stuff he been doing, bro. They using that. They don't want to let him out because he's saying he's an enforcer, and what he'd do, and talking about people's family. They also asked Eddie Boy, would Eddie Boy like to press charges on Luce Cannon for talking about his family? Eddie Boy said, no, I don't need to. And then they said he's lying, causing confusion about violence, lying about fights in the jail. There was never no fight, which we knew that, but I wasn't going to speak on it because I didn't technically have the proof. But now when the prosecutors say it, you're lying, there was no fights, now we can talk about it. So, Luce Cannon is just known to be a liar, bro. You feel me? He's not no rolling 60. Never was, never will be, right?
Luce Cannon and his wife said it never happened. Straight up not true. What they did say was that the court brought up the fight outside of no jumper. They used that to paint him as a violent, and it speaks to his character. The fight they're talking about is the one that happened with him and Jay Reed, where outside of no jumper, he got punched out, robbed, and stripped down butt naked, with the whole thing being caught on camera. They brought that up in court, and they're probably going to hit him with charges for that later. But for now, they use that to argue that Luce Cannon shouldn't be out in public. And to be honest, I didn't hear the courts bring up anything about Luce Cannon lying about jail fights. Just to be real with you.
It was never no video of him FaceTiming Big. A lot of y'all heard of Luce, dude. That's the first time I ever met dude in my life when he said he had that. That's the first time I met dude. And he a year older than me. He ain't never went to school with us. He ain't never played football with us. He ain't never been around with us, hung on the block. I've never seen dude before in my life. And I've been around him for all my life. I ain't been to the pen and been gone for years. I might have went to college for a semester, came back. But I've lived, all my addresses been in the 60s. I had one of them in Inglewood. Most of them, all nine of my addresses been in the 60s, bro. So, I don't know, dude. You know what I'm saying? And he's just known to be a liar. All that stuff he's saying, lying, bro. All that talking and doing, he's lying, bro. You know what's crazy? He lied and talked himself into an indictment. I guess one of those robberies that's in the indictment, somebody made a statement on him about the robbery. No footage, is a long time ago, right? This dude went on there talking and corroborated a story, an incident that someone already told him about. So, dude, so let this be a message to somebody out here who's online. They're using all that stuff, bro.
I'm not here to say what Luce Cannon is or isn't lying about. I wasn't there. But what I do know is this. Most of his enemies come from the same set he claims. That alone should tell you everything you need to know about gang culture. I've heard and read from credible sources that they have common phrases that are used in between them. Things like, nobody is bigger than the program. An even more spookier one is, you're not a real Crip or a real 60s Crip until you unalive one. I'll let that sink in. Because it's little things like that I noticed over the years that people don't talk about. But if you made it this far, click the left side of your screen to see why some people are saying Bricc Baby snitched after his paperwork just dropped. And also, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share to be aware, put me in that album because I need to be there, man. Because I know there's 10 other streamers out there doing it like me, but...
Fuck that, little 10! I'm maxed out!